Welcome back to Capital Conservatives, where I cut through the noise and show you what the mainstream media won't. Today, I watched one of the most intense judiciary hearings in recent memory. Senator Kennedy went toe-to-toe with judicial nominee Eumi Lee, and let's just say, it got heated fast. Kennedy didn't waste time. He opened with, "Judge Lee, I don't believe you were truthful in answering Senator Lee's questions." Right out the gate, he called her out for dodging on tough issues, especially a 2010 article she wrote about California's prison system. Kennedy said Lee argued for letting male prisoners claim transgender status to enter female prisons. Lee claimed, "Hey, I was just summarizing a symposium," but Kennedy wasn't buying it for a second.
Judge Lee, I don't believe you were truthful in answering Senator Lee's questions. You wrote an article in 2010 entitled "An Overview of Special Populations in California Prisons," did you not?
Yes, I did.
And in that article, you argued that male prisoners should be allowed to claim they are transgender in order to be assigned to a female prison, didn't you?
As I said to Senator Lee, that was an article which arose from a symposium, which I just moderated the panel, and then summarized for the symposium edition the different arguments and issues that were raised.
Well, I've read your article, and I don't think that's accurate.
Then Kennedy dialed up the pressure. He quoted her own conclusion, where she discussed judging society by how it treats the weak. Again, Lee tried to distance herself, but Kennedy pressed, "You answered in your article, why not here?" That's when you could feel the tension rise. Before I go further, if you care about these hearings and the future of our courts, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. I'll keep bringing you the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it gets.
You identify certain special populations, transgender people, immigrants, and racial minorities. And you're very critical of the way the California prison system treats them. For example, I'm going to quote here, your words, not mine. "The prison system relies heavily on a dichotomous sex-based means of classification. Prisoners are classified by their biological attributes rather than their gender identification. As described by one of the people in the California prison system, the classification process is gender neutral. We really don't distinguish between transgender and non-transgender inmates." Did I read that correctly?
Senator, I don't recall it word by word, but
Here it
I think
is.
so.
And at the end, here's your conclusion. Your words, not mine. In conclusion, because each of these populations, including transgender, traditionally has been marginalized by American society based on their gender, race, ethnicity, or status, they are often further distanced from and marginalized by society upon incarceration. A recent president said you can fairly judge the character of a society by how it treats the weak, the vulnerable, the most easily forgotten. Did you say that?
That's what was written.
Okay. And so, but you're saying your article is just a summary of the opinions of people that you moderated?
I moderated a panel. There were 3 panelists about those different topics. That's what was represented in terms of the issues. And
Well, let me just ask you, do you
Back to the exchange. Kennedy asked Lee point blank, should a male inmate be allowed to claim transgender status and transfer to a female prison? Lee refused to answer. She said it's being litigated. Kennedy fired back, pointing out she had already staked out a position years ago. Her refusal to answer only raised more questions about her honesty, and it didn't stop there.
think that a male prisoner convicted in a court of law on final judgment should be allowed to claim that he is transgender in order to be assigned to a female prison?
Senator, as discussed earlier, the issue of assignment in facilities and such is one which is being actively litigated in California and may become before me. If I were to be
now all of a
confirmed,
sudden you can't answer it. You answered it in your law review article. You were for it, but now you can't answer it. Is that your testimony?
My testimony is that was an article from over 13 years ago, and that as a judge now, and as I have been for nearly the last 5 years, my responsibilities are to fully, faithfully, and
The truth is, you believe that a male prisoner should be able to allow at the sentencing phase to claim that he is transgender in order to be assigned to a female prison. Now, you believe that, don't you?
Senator,
You wrote it.
again, that was a piece which summarized and came out of a symposium edition about the California prison crisis generally.
You found it at Georgetown, the Georgetown Journal of Gender and Sexuality Law Journal, did you not?
At Georgetown, I was one of the founding members. I didn't of the.
Did you found it? Did you help found it?
I was one of the initial founding group members.
All right.
Kennedy brought up Lee founding the Georgetown Journal of Gender and Sexuality Law. He confronted her on articles attacking conservatives and pushing radical gender theories. Lee said she was just an articles editor and didn't recall the content. Kennedy wasn't having it. "I'd respect you more if you just admitted what you believe." By the end, Kennedy made it clear. He thinks Lee's dodging, and that's a red flag for anyone who cares about our courts.
And one of the first articles was entitled, that you picked was entitled, quote, "The Politics of Eradication and Future of LGBT Rights." And in that article, you accused the article you chose accused Republicans of being influenced by, quote, "a desire to eradicate LGBT identities." Is that accurate?
Senator, I was an articles editor in the first edition.
You don't remember that article?
I do not recall. I do not know whether or not I edited that.
Okay, well, here's another article you picked. Quote, here's the title of the article that you picked for your journal. "Gender is Fake, the Ongoing Need for an Equal Rights Amendment." And the article says, quote, "The need for the ERA is more pressing now than ever, given modern conceptions of gender as a social construct." Did I read that right?
Senator, I don't, as I said, I was an articles editor who
Look,
edited.
Senator Durbin may save you here, but I don't think you've been honest with this committee, because I've read your writing, and I'd respect you a lot more if you stepped up to the plate and said, "This is what I believe."
I might say to the Senator from Louisiana, my goal is to run the committee and not salvation. I believe the judge can speak for herself.
I'm sure well, let me say this. Thank you for giving me the extra time.
Judge Padilla.
This wasn't just political theater, it was about truth, trust, and the kind of people deciding our laws. If you want more unfiltered coverage from Washington to Capitol conservatives, stay strong, stay informed, and stay conservative.